Rebecca, we're live.
Hello.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super excited to chat with you because the whole point of this interview series is to interview and chat about systems from other people's perspectives, because there's nothing better than showcasing your business backend and awesome examples of what makes it so exciting for you. So we're going to be short and sweet and quick. And we're going to talk about why your business backend is so tight with all those systems. So start introducing yourself. Do all the good things.
Awesome. I'm Rebecca Prowse, Rebecca Graves Prowse. I have I have asthma and and Graves Co Pottery. And we're a production pottery studio that has grown from just me solo to one part-time assistant to now a full-time assistant and 3 part-time assistants. And we're getting ready to bring on another full-timer. So we're growing rapidly and loving it.
All right. That is so awesome. So tell me about your personality. Like, how do you, and I ask this because everybody's different. And so your personality dictates what kind of systems you create and how they look. So tell me about yourself that way.
Whew. Okay. So I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not stifled by perfectionism. So something doesn't have to be 100% perfect for me to put it out into the world, but I want it to be as good as I absolutely can based on where I am right now. So that is one of the big key things. I'm also a workaholic. So for me, sometimes when I don't have a really good system for something, I don't even necessarily notice it because I'm just used to working so many hours. It's just how I am. I just have that kind of a work ethic. Beyond that, I really like to be laid back and empower my team to succeed. So systems have been a huge piece that I've been able to implement that help my team be more successful on their own without requiring a ton of info on the daily from me. They can kind of come in and we check in and they do their thing and they know how to do it because we have systems set up. So that's definitely like, as far as my personality goes, I'm very independent. I'm very introverted. I want to be able to do my thing and set people up to do theirs and be successful.
Excellent. Okay, we're just going to dive in. Here we go.
Sweet.
First question, what are the ways that you make money in your business?
Well, the primary way that I make money in my business is partnering with other companies, food bloggers, that sort of thing, doing wholesale. So a lot of what I'm doing now is developing custom product lines for other people to sell. And it's not necessarily going out under my brand name. That's about 80% of my business at the moment. And then the other thing that I do a lot of that we're getting ready to grow some more is the direct retail piece. I used to do art shows. I no longer do those. So right now, all of my direct sales are through the website and maybe 1 or 2 events a year. And then,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
A little lag. And would you say that with different revenue streams and different business models require different systems for you?
Yes, I tried doing the wholesale and retail in a single system and it made me crazy. Like finally realizing that they needed 2 completely different systems for managing orders and stuff made everything a lot easier in the studio.
Okay, awesome. So next question, what does having systems in your business mean to you?
It means that I actually get to sleep at night without like things running through my head over and over. Like I'll make this mental list of stuff and then I run through it all day. So I'm running through this list. And when I get to the bottom, I start at the top again. And I just keep doing this in my head. And if something falls off the list because I completed it, I put something else on the list. Having systems allows me to get it out of my head into a tangible form. And then I can actually go to sleep without that puppy chasing its tail thing happening in my brain.
I think you called it merry-go-rounding. I
Yes.
really like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of the merry-go-round. Absolutely.
Okay, next question. What was your business like before you started incorporating systems into your business?
It was small and I worked alone.
Okay, just like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I would get really busy, it would be stressful because I didn't have systems and it was easy to drop a ball on something. And I hate disappointing customers, but I was doing it over and over just because I would lose track of something in an order.
Okay, so you pretty much answered the next question because what was your aha moment?
Yeah. I always knew I needed systems. I come from a corporate background and everything had a system, like right down to whether or not the bathroom was clean. There was a system and a checklist and all that stuff. So I knew I needed systems. At one point, I think for some reason it was in my brain that I only needed systems when I had employees to work with. And
Okay.
then I would start setting them up. Like I'm a process person. So once I figure out a process for something, I create a system out of it and I go. And I was doing that for how I made things, but I wasn't doing that for the back end of my business until I started dropping balls.
Okay, here's a separate question. Why do you think that entrepreneurs don't think about systems as the first thing that they should be considering when they start a business?
With a lot of the creatives that I've worked with over the years, they're, I don't want to say afraid or intimidated because I don't think that that's necessarily it. I think that they're concerned that systems mean corporate, and that's not the lifestyle that they want. It's like a personal affront to their ethos to have a system without realizing how they can make their own system because they're in business for themselves and do something that works for them instead of being forced into something that worked for someone else.
Hello, that's why I'm here to help.
Right, right.
Okay, next question. How has systems help you take back your time and sanity?
Oh my gosh. So shortly after you and I met, I know you know this story. You actually came to Angola and stayed with us when we were living up at the studio in Angola, Indiana. And I thought I needed systems to help me with marketing because I was spending too much time on social media and marketing, and I didn't really have a plan outside of my brain. And you spent what, like 3 hours with me in the studio going over stuff, and you're like, yeah, that's not what you need. You need this. And created a system for me to track production. And that saved me at like an hour and a half a day. I basically gained a full day each week by having that one system.
Oh, love it. It's because we're also deep into our businesses.
Mhm.
We don't see what we don't see. So when another person like me comes in, I'm just like, why are we talking about marketing when something that's directly impacting your revenue, which is leading up to the next question I'm going to ask
Right.
you, why are we not focusing on this? You're telling me you have a hardship doing this or that this could be better. So why are we focusing on marketing?
Yep.
But again, it's just because you know your business so well and you know what you're doing and what you need to do. It's just like you think perhaps the easy things that cause you pain are easily fixable and they're not a big deal to you.
Right. Right. Well, and like for the production planning, when you and I were working on a system for that, I had a system. It just wasn't efficient. So to me, that wasn't on my plate as a system to create because I had something that was working. I just didn't realize how much better it could be.
Oh, that's a great nugget. It's like, what do you already have and how can it be better?
Hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then how has having systems impacted your revenue?
Well, just in that small studio, having that first production system set up that we worked through, which was essentially an Excel spreadsheet that you did magic with. It was way more advanced than I could Excel.
Oh, no pun intended.
No pun intended. So, well, actually, kind of intended. But um, I would have to say that like having that system gaining me back 7 to 8 hours in the week that I could focus on production instead of focus on planning meant an extra $2,000 to $3,000 in production per week above what I was already doing. That was the piece that allowed me to hire an assistant and pay them because my production had increased. That was the piece that allowed me an advertising budget. And that was also the piece that allowed me some time off and gave me the freedom to stop doing art fairs and start focusing on wholesale instead.
Love
It
it.
made a pretty big impact.
Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so I know you're really, really excited to talk about this next question. And so, what? Oh no, where did the question go? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm teasing you right here. Okay, here we go. Ready? What are some of your favorite systems in your business right now?
Okay, right now, I'm so jazzed up.
See?
You reached out like, I don't know, was it like 6 or 8 weeks ago and asked me if I needed any updates on systems, and it just got my wheels turning. I don't think we ever actually like talked about specifics beyond you prompting me. hey, it's time to think about your systems. So with having new people coming on to the studio and some changes in my lease here, we have to keep track of every single kiln firing. And I have 5 kilns. So we have to keep track of it so that I know how much to pay them for electric, because we're on a shared meter. And it gets pretty expensive when you're firing multiple kilns multiple times a week. So we toyed with a paper log. I kept forgetting to put it back by the kilns. I kept forgetting to fill it out. Like, it just, in theory, it was a good idea. In practice, it was not. And I know most potters keep a paper log for their kilns. So you introduced me to the beauty of Google Forms, which are free. I set up a Google form with all of the information for the kiln firing, and then put a 1-inch QR code sticker on the side of each kiln. So we fire a kiln, I go take a picture of it with my phone, it pops up the link, and we fill it out, and it's done. And it's fun.
Because it makes a sound.
It doesn't make a sound, but I make a sound. like bloop, bleep.
Like the fact that you get so excited as a creative implementing a system means that it's orgasmic. It has aligned with you, how you work, how you think. And that's what I'm all about, because I'm not about creating a cookie cutter system for you. So the fact that you got creative and found something that worked for you, because people don't think about QR codes very often anymore. They sound so antiquated sometimes, even though you see it everywhere. So I love that you repurposed it.
Yeah, it's really fun. So now we're putting QR codes on freaking everything. In fact, I talked to my friend Josh Hyde. He's another potter, and he also has a pottery school. We were talking about other ways for him to use QR codes too. He has like the same people asking the same questions over and over about equipment. He's just going to make a document, a Google Doc, about how to use the equipment with an accompanying video, and the student can scan the equipment, the QR code on the equipment, and get the info without having to go find him and have him walk through the same info again and again and again. So that was a new one. All of our glaze recipes are going to be implemented that way. And we're even using it for order processing now. So large orders that come in that are really hard to track because it might take several weeks to create all of these pieces, we often don't know exactly where we are, because some are on the shelf drying, some are in a kiln being bisque fired, some are in a kiln being glaze fired, some are on another shelf already finished. So what we're doing now is, as we make the pieces, scan the QR code for that project, put in the person's name and how many they made, and I can check from anywhere at any time and know we've made 700 of this bowl, or we've only made 300 and we need to make another 400 or whatever. That has been a really big help. Okay. So we're starting to do that with more projects too.
Love it so much. Okay, so besides this QR code, list off 2 more systems that you love in your business.
Oh, I'm going to make QR codes for all of them.
So, okay, so QR codes are the catalyst to making it easy. So list 2 more systems that even though you're going to make QR codes for, that have been oh my goodness, I can't English. So influential in how you run your business.
Yeah. Well, one of them is the production schedule that you helped me come up with. So just basically, I can fill out like how many of each thing that I need to make, and it will automatically tabulate for me how many pieces of clay I need to make of each weight to be prepped. So I can just pass that off to somebody and they know what they need to make so that I can actually start working on it. Another system that I use it's really simple. I use QuickBooks, like for all of my bookkeeping stuff, but now I'm also going to be implementing it for payroll. So that's all in one place. Good Lord, I have systems for everything. Like, we have systems for how everything is made. We have systems for tracking all of the different things that we make and orders and that sort of thing. Whew,
so good.
Systems.
I know.
Systems.
We can talk about this forever, but I just wanted to showcase the other types of systems that you have as a production potter that might get other people's wheels turning, which means, absolutely, leading to the next question, how have you made your systems easy and effective?
QR codes.
So systems don't have to be hard. So see, systems don't have to be hard. They don't have to be gross. This is a big myth and objection that so many creatives have. They're like, systems kill my creative vibe or do all this. And I'm like, no, look, systems are actually giving you more mental white space to innovate, and to do more of what you love. So
Absolutely. So we do like big picture planning in Trello, and I keep a lot of details, keep track of a lot of details in Trello, but also have been using Google Docs a lot more this year. In Google Forms, there's a lot of stuff that it would probably be fine if I just had an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets or a doc or whatever. But for me, the way that I think, I might get distracted in the middle of it, or I might forget the one thing that was crucial that I need. So Google Forms have been really helpful for me, even for like writing product descriptions for my website, because it prompts me to remember the stuff that later I'll sit down to put it on the website and go, oh, I forgot to measure it. I forgot to get the weight for shipping. And I'm at home in my pajamas and don't have that at my fingertips. When I do it on a Google form, I do.
Excellent.
And I use a QR code to get to it and make it fun.
I love it so much. And I want to QR code everything I see. Okay. With that being said, one more question to go, and I think this is going to be a really great one to end on, is what are some tips for creating simple and sexy systems that save a business owner's time and sanity?
Oh my gosh, learn how to use Trello. Like the few hours that it takes to really learn how to use it, or they could just take your course, your workshop on Trello, which is super helpful. I learned some new things about that. And I think I'm the one who could kind of like bullied you into learning Trello because I refused to use anything else. I would say that learning Trello is one of the best because you can share things with your team. You can block things from your team. You can see just kind of an overarching view of all of your things and then link it together with your systems and your QR codes.
Perfect. So I will, for the sake of ease, link my Trello guide for creating systems, workflows, and processes in a really simple, and I like to call it sexy because if it's not sexy to you, why would you use it? So I will link that to the bottom of this comment. And if you want to get a kickstart on your systems, I also have a guide, 20 easy to create and implement systems that you can do today in your business. Get the link wherever the video is, get the link above. It's simple and sexy systems and get to work. I mean, your business is ready for this. If you're ready to grow, if you're ready to like be free and thrive the way Rebecca is, I mean, look how happy you are in terms of how much production you're doing, but yet you feel at ease. I mean, if that's not inspiring to makers, I don't know what is.
Yep. You know, honestly, I looked at the numbers the other night. In the last 5 years, we've grown 400%.
The last 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is fabulous.
And the majority of that has been in the last 3.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm so honored to call you my very good friend.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So along with that growth, the first couple of times I looked at Trello, and everybody that I've talked to about this, they look at Trello and they go, no. Ew, I don't want to learn that. Seriously, take Veronica's course on it because it makes such a big difference in my everyday business.
Thank you. And with that being said, we're done. We're so good. Are you going to? Oh, she already left. She already exited before I said anything. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
I love wheels with chairs with wheels.